It's about time with Rashawn's about time. Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. We back again. What's up to the About Time Boxing family and my Trill 100 Mil gang? Hope everybody good. Hope your families are all good and everybody okay. Before I jump into the topic at hand, I just want to say rest in peace to Natalie Desselle Reed. She was a female actress. She played in movies like Set It Off, Baps, and How to Be a Player, and a few other movies as well. She was a talented young actress. Young for she passed away, so she was talented, and rest in peace to her. My condolences go out to her family. Showtime Shawn Porter has been very, very vocal about wanting to fight Terence Crawford. He made some videos, he did some interviews and said, he'll whoop Terence Crawford's ass. That's what he said. But, make no mistake about it. He said Terence Crawford is the real deal. And when Terence Crawford did an interview and they asked him, who would he like to fight? And in the order that he gave, he said he would like to fight Manny Pacquiao first, Errol Spence second, Danny Garcia third, and Keith, one-time Thurman, fourth. Never mentioned Shawn Porter. It's funny he never mentioned Showtime Shawn Porter. Why didn't he mention Showtime Shawn Porter? We know that Bob Arum has been promising him that Pacquiao fight since the since like 2015, 2016. He's been telling him, promising Terence Crawford, the Pacquiao fight to happen soon for Terence Crawford, and it's he's an amazing fighter and it's gonna happen, but it never happened. He was just selling them wolf tickets. That's why Terence Crawford, from what my sources are saying, he's supposed to be reporting that he's coming to PBC. So, coming to PBC would be a good thing, because Al Heyman, I don't care what nobody say. Al Heyman is the man. You got people who say, "Oh, Al Heyman pay his fighters too much." No, Al Heyman understands the business, and he understands that the fighters are the ones taking the risk, and they should be compensated accordingly. Al Heyman is one of the smartest, if not probably the smartest mind in boxing. If you look at everything that Floyd Mayweather has amassed for this, on the second half of his career, after he fought Oscar and then went on that 7-fight deal with Showtime and all Al Heyman. Al Heyman is a very smart man, very intelligent, and knows business. So people can say what they want about Al Heyman. Al Heyman is the man. I don't think he paid the fighters too much, because as a matter of fact, if you look at it now, fighters are making more money now than fighters have ever made in their career. You go back to the 60s, 70s, the 80s, and even the 90s, a lot of fighters were getting ripped off by people like Bob Arum, Don King. Just ripping they fighters off, making them sign crazy contracts, getting all the money, fighters walking away with nothing. Then you had guys like Jerry Cooney, who was fighting to have a union for the boxers so that they could have something after their career. Like, listen, boxing is not an easy sport. It's a very barbaric sport. And you could literally lose your mind. So why not let them be compensated? So people say, "Oh man, this fighter's making too much money." Yeah, you risking your life. You think you could really put a price on that? No. So shout out to Al Heyman Shout out to Al Heyman, keeping the fighters paid, you know what I mean? Keeping money in their pocket and understanding, what it means. That's why a long time ago, Al Heyman, when people used to ask, like, how come nobody never see you? Why you don't really take pictures? Like, you got to catch him in the picture. Al Heyman ain't going to just, because Al Heyman said, listen, he said, because it's not about me. It's about the fighters. It's about them. It's not about me. It's about the fighters. So anyway, back to Showtime Shawn Porter. He chasing a bag. He chasing bags. He's trying to get all the big fights that he can get. Now, mind you, he has 3 losses. He's chasing a bag now. He wants that Terence Crawford fight. And he's the mandatory. And he wasn't shy about, saying like, hey, look, stop overlooking me. Stop talking about Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence and all. I'm not saying that those fights are not great. This is what Showtime Shawn Porter saying, but hey, let's try to take a listen to what he said about him being a mandatory and the problems that that he could cause if he wanted to. Let's check it out.
Let's be real. They're lucky I didn't stand outside of the MGM with the picket sign saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the mandatory. Don't say Manny Pacquiao. Don't say Errol Spence Jr. You have to fight Shawn Porter."
So you hear him being vocal about him saying like, "Listen, don't overlook me. I'm not nobody to take lightly." And he's not. Because when Errol Spence was preparing for the Danny Garcia fight, and when I put up videos about that, I even said in the video, the closest you're going to get to a blueprint on beating Errol Spence is the Shawn Porter fight. Because everybody know Errol Spence is that pressure fighter. He going to walk to you, keep that pressure on you, try to break you down, work up top, touch that body up top. He going to work you. But Showtime Shawn Porter didn't allow Errol Spence to back him up. He was actually stepping to Errol, and he was catching Errol with some good shots. And it was a very competitive fight. Probably Errol Spence's most competitive fight still to date. Still to date. Kell Brook too. I thought Kell Brook gave a pretty good showing of himself too. So shout out to Kell Brook too. I think Kell Brook gave a really good showing of himself. But the closest you're going to get to a blueprint on beating Errol Spence is the Showtime Shawn Porter fight. So Shawn Porter is chasing the bags. He wants the big fights. He says he's the mandatory and he will not go away. And he's saying, listen, by hook or by crook, at some point, you're going to have to fight me. Let me know what y'all think. Smash that like button. Leave me some comments. Shout out to New Media Boxing. And shout out to my About Time Boxing family and my Trill 100 Mil gang. Until we do it again, I love y'all.